Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Mark, the 4th chapter. And he began again to teach by the seaside, and there was gathered unto him a great multitude, so that he entered into a ship and sat in the sea, and the whole multitude was by the sea on the land. So he being in the ship on the water, them being on the land, because there was so much. It's like when you go to a concert and then you have, that's why they have a stage where the artist is on the stage far and everybody can see him. And he taught them many things by parables, and said unto them in his doctrine, Hearken, behold, there went out a sower to sow. And it came to pass, as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and the fowls of the air came and devoured it up. Meaning the seed, when he was sowing, right? You have the seed, you break up the earth, and you sprinkle the seed on the ground. And so he's saying some of the seed fell by the wayside, right? The footpath where people walk. And then the birds came and devoured it. This is all an analogy. And some fell on stony ground, where it had not much earth. And immediately it sprang up, because it had no depth of the earth. But when the sun was up, it was scorched. So it grew, but it wasn't able to be fully rooted in the earth. And so when the sun beamed on it, as it says, it was scorched, and eventually it withered away, right? And because it had no root, it withered away, because it couldn't draw nutrients from the soil. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no fruit. And other fell on good ground, and did yield fruit that sprang up and, and increased, and brought forth some 30, and some 60, and some 100. And he said unto them, He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. So those of you who have your spiritual ears open, hear and understand. And this is really mainly for a few, right? Primarily his disciples, because he expounded onto them. And that's why when we go down, it'll give the meaning of that parable. And when he was alone, they that were about him with the 12 asked of him the parable. And he said unto them, Unto you it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of God, but unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables. So there are some that are not supposed to get it. Some that are here, they're listening, but they're not part of the elect. They're not chosen. They're just called. Okay. And so for you, it is given, but for them, it is not. And that's why he speaks to them in parables, not plainly. That seeing they may see and not perceive. See, so he still spoke to them. They still heard him. They saw him, but they didn't fully understand it. And hearing they may hear and not understand, lest at any time they should be converted and their sins should be forgiven them. Because for some of them, the Most High didn't want, he hadn't chosen them. So he didn't want them to hear it or have their minds opened to receive it and then be forgiven. Some of them were destined for judgment. And he said unto them, Know ye not this parable? And how then will ye know all parables? So if you don't understand this one, how are you going to understand the rest? The sower soweth the word, and these are they by the wayside. So now he goes on to explain. So the sower is like the teacher, right? And the word is the truth, is knowledge. And these are they that fell by the wayside, where the word is sown. But when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word which was sown in their hearts. So immediately when they hear this word, Satan coming through whatever means, whether it's some physical distraction, maybe some event happens in their life, something that happens to where they're not able to fully receive the word, okay, and have it ingratiated into their spirit and then continue on it. So immediately after they got it, it was taken away right back from them. All right. And these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground, who when they have heard the word immediately receive it with gladness. So you have some that hear the word and they're joyous at first. They hear it, they receive it. But as it says, they have no root in themselves. They're not fully persuaded in their mind. So they may hear it, the kingdom, the good news, the gospel, and all the blessings that come in it. But when it comes time for you to be diligent, when it comes time for you to labor, when it comes time for you to love the Lord above everybody else and sacrifice, because they have no root, right? They weren't fully persuaded. They're not going to be able to do that. See? And so endure but for a time. Afterward, when affliction or persecution ariseth, which are the hardships, the hard parts of this word, when those things come upon them for the word's sake, immediately they are offended, right? And then they desert and they scatter and they disregard the word. And that's because they weren't deeply rooted, so they couldn't fall back on their roots, on that faith, on their foundation. And these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lust of other things entering in, choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful. So that's likened unto those who have a lot going on, all right, in their life. And those things are likened unto thorns. So they hear this word, but with 1,000,001 things going on, they don't have the time to dedicate to serve the Lord and to grow this word. And instead, their time and their mind and their energy is given to everything else, money and things of the world and responsibilities and all these other things that they don't rebalance and repurpose and sacrifice for the Lord. So in other words, they don't set up their life in a way where their life revolves around the truth. Instead, the truth is just another thing on the list. And when you do that, you're not prioritizing it. Hence, you're likened onto one of these. And so you're going to be unfruitful because you're only going to try to put in work when time permits, rather than making time and prioritizing the work first and then everything else. Verse 20, and these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word and receive it and bring forth fruit, right? So those they're solid, right? They hear the word, they believe it, they're rooted, and they endure, right? They stay in the word, they abound, and then they bring forth fruit, right? They labor, they teach, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100, right? And that's by different measures. Not everybody's been given the same measure. Not everybody works the same, but to each as they have been given, they produce. And he said unto them, is a candle brought up or brought to be put under a bushel or under a bed and not to be set on a candlestick? Yeah, because when you light a candle, you're not going to go put it under a bucket somewhere. That's the whole point, is to give light. And usually you put a candle at a high point because then it can shine at a greater distance. For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested, neither was there anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad, right? So all the secret things, even the mysteries, eventually would come to light. And the Lord was saying this because he's saying that, the knowledge that we have, you're to teach it openly, right? It's not to be hidden. It's not hidden knowledge, right? Because that would be likened on to lighting a candle and then just putting it under a bed somewhere. Verse 23, if any man have ears to hear, let him hear. And that's your spiritual ears. Because majority of them, if not all, had ears. They could hear him talking, but their spiritual ears were closed, were blocked, and that's why they didn't receive it. And he said unto them, take heed what ye hear. With what measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you, and unto you that hear shall more be given. And let's read that in the NLT. Then he added, pay close attention to what you hear. The closer you listen, the more understanding you will be given, and you will receive even more. For he that hath, to him shall be given, and he that hath not, from him shall be taken even that which he hath. Reading that in the NLT as well. To those who listen to my teaching, more understanding will be given, but to those who are not listening, even what little understanding they have will be taken away from them. And he said, so is the kingdom of God, as if a man should cast seed into the ground, and should sleep and rise night and day, and the seed should spring and grow up, and he knoweth not how. For the earth bringeth forth fruit of herself, first the blade, then the ear, after that the full corn in the ear. But when the fruit is brought forth, immediately he putteth in the sickle, because the harvest is come. Yeah, because similar to what the Apostle Paul mentioned, right? That was it Paul gave the word, Apollos watered, but the Most High gave the increase. So this truth is not grown by the efforts of man. Our job is just to put out the word, right? Put out the seed, and everything else would happen on its own. That's why he likened it onto that, where he says it is sprung up and he knoweth not how, right? So long as you throw that seed out there, the Lord will take care of the rest, and eventually there will come the harvest. Okay, where you will reap the benefits of this word going out. And he said, well, whereunto shall we liken the kingdom of God? Or what comparison shall we compare it? It is like a grain of mustard seed, which when it is sown in the earth is less than all the seeds that be in the earth. But when it is sown, it groweth up and becometh greater than all herbs, and shooteth out great branches, so that the fowls of the air may lodge under the shadow of it. Like how it mentions in 2 Ezra 6, that the truth which hath been so long without fruit shall flourish. And I believe, I forget it what chapter, if it was Ezekiel 40 or 41 or 42 or 47, one of those chapters, where it likens this word to water that started off at the ankles, then eventually to the knees, then the loins, then the neck, then it overflows. So that's how this truth is, right? It starts off small, but it just continues to grow and grow and abound and abound and abound to the point where it's spread throughout the whole earth and it's unstoppable. And with many such parables spake he the word unto them, as they were able to hear it. But without a parable spake he not unto them. And when they were alone, he expounded all things to his disciples. And the same day, when the even, and that was because it was meant for the disciples to understand. When the even was come, he saith unto them, let us pass over unto the other side. And when they had sent away the multitude, they took him even as he was in the ship, and there were also with him other little ships. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. So it was very stormy, right? The rain, the weather is getting real bad, the water's flooding into the ship. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, so the lower deck, asleep on a pillow. And they awake him, and say unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? So they're like, here it is, we're about to die, and you sleeping down here? You don't care that we're about to die? And he arose and rebuked the wind, and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said unto them, Why are ye so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith? Did you actually think that we were going to die on here? And they feared exceedingly, and said one to another, What manner of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him? Not only does he have this, is he teaching the word as he is, healing people, he's commanding even the sea and the wind. These are like likened onto inanimate objects, and or at least the water. But hey, that's the power. And that brings us to the end of the book of Mark, the 4th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.